Today's video is brought to you by SkillShare. Stick around to the end to learn how it can help you improve your workflow and more. There are only a few Pokemon one could really call evil or wicked. Most of them, though, are dark type, which, when translated from Japanese, can be translated as evil type, though it is a bit more complicated than that. A lot of dark types are just night-stalking predators like Umbreon. That's not evil. But then others are like Malamar, who in the anime is a whole supervillain removing the free will of others without a second thought. Absolutely evil. Spiritomb consists of 108 souls that were so evil they had to be trapped inside a keystone forever. What sins could they have committed? Now, one could put all of the dark-type Pokemon on a spectrum between these, and one of the other mon that I surprisingly can see being closer to the messed up end of the spectrum is Houndoom. Is Houndoom one of the darkest dark types to ever dark? Just totally devoid of empathy, which really is how many define what evil truly is when you start to boil it down. I mean, how else would you objectively define evil? Is it evil for a predator to sustain itself and its family by eating prey? Is it evil to defend yourself by preemptively going on the offensive? And what makes a person truly evil? Some would define evildoers just broadly as anyone who doesn't follow their religion, but that's not objective, is it? But when you start to look at people who are generally agreed upon to be extremely clearly evil, a lack of empathy is the main thing they all share. Not caring even the tiniest bit about the lives or woes of others, be it others as a whole or others as in a specific group. Yeah, to torture, kill, and maim them. I literally do not care what happens to them. My ends justify the means. This got kind of dark for a Pokemon video. So where is all this coming from? Well, it's coming from Houndoom. Like I said, specifically, some of its Pokédex entries. The flames it breathes when angry contain toxins. If they cause a burn, it will hurt forever. Burns are some of the worst sources of pain already. Literally, skin and nerve death. It's why we react so quickly to being burned. It's a lot of pain all at once. Now imagine the torture of that pain indefinitely. Because early Game Freak sure loved its no-limit fallacies. And what kind of monster dog is so devoid of empathy that it causes this torturous pain on another person or creature just because it made it angry? Just imagine a Karen Houndoom or an angsty anime rival character as a Houndoom, getting pissed and angry all the time, even at things that don't particularly matter. Angry for the sake of attention. Oh god, the actual Karen in Pokemon has a Houndoom. What do you mean the ice cream machine is down, wage slave who has no control over this? Here's some permanent debilitating pain that will never go away. It's wicked in the purest sense of the word, and as sick as it is to say, it's pretty fitting of Houndoom. Houndoom is based on a Hellhound Doberman, and Hellhounds are said to be the guardians and hunters of the underworld, or Hell, hence the name. However, they do differ greatly in depiction. The main inspiration comes mainly from Cerberus in Greek mythology. Cerberus is the guard dog of the underworld, and it's since become a bit of a cultural icon. Many Hellhounds would just be described as a single-headed Cerberus even. Notably though, Cerberus didn't have a lot to do with fire originally. That is a somewhat more modern interpretation as the biblical hell became a part of mainstream culture. Horror, fire, and brimstone elements would find their way into many depictions of Cerberus and, thus, Hellhounds in general as time went on. The more Christian idea of hell being a place of infinite pain and torture for not worshipping a loving and totally empathetic God is perfectly fitting as an inspiration for this aspect of Houndoom, and it fits the evil idea of Houndoom that much better. I mean, who enjoys causing this much infinite pain other than certain depictions of demons and other hell creatures? And so, there you go. That's why Houndoom does that thing. So real quick now, why a Doberman? Cerberus was very clearly not a Doberman. The breed wouldn't actually exist until the late 1800s. But this idea that Cerberus is Doberman-esque and that Houndoom is a Doberman and that's perfect is very likely due to a stereotype. Dobermans are one of those breeds that people think are more naturally vicious. Think like pit bulls, Rottweilers, Chihuahuas, and such. And this stereotype comes from why these breeds exist in the first place. The 1800s were a crazy time when it came to dog breeding. Many new breeds were bred for hunting game, large and small, or being fashionable, or being scary. The Doberman was created by a German tax collector who wanted an intimidating guard dog with him at all times. It would need to be high in stamina, strength, and intelligence, and have a really good snarl for that intimidation factor. And these aspects of them would continue to grow as their interbreeding became more specialized. They would even go on to be the official breed of war dog for the US Marine Corps in World War II, which of course is where the stereotype of them being scary and ferocious comes from. They were bred and trained to be dogs of war. So obviously this unfortunate stereotype was born. There is for sure a nature versus nurture debate to be had with many dog breeds, but that's not this video. But next, I want to tackle a more scientific side of this discussion, and that's how the heck is this possible? Infinite non-stop pain from a toxin-filled burn from a smooth, earless dog? Is there any science to that? Is there at all a way for this to happen? Well, I wouldn't be talking about it this much if the answer is no. Enter complex regional pain syndrome, CRPS. It's a horrible but manageable syndrome to end up with. Its pain varies from person to person, but most describe it as feeling like a burn that doesn't go away. Constant burning. It's normally caused by what doctors think is extensive nerve damage. The nerves are so broken, they don't know how to stop sending the pain signal. It's similar in concept to tinnitus, which is when the hairs, the sensory hairs in your ear, get broken in a way that they don't stop sending a high-pitched signal. Like the hairs are broken, so they think there's sound, they send that signal to the brain. That's the ringing in your ears you hear. It's the same idea, but with nerves. And it's not just any burning pain signal. This syndrome is marked on the highest point of the McGrill pain scale, right next to finger and toe amputation. It's that bad, but always. In fact, one of the major issues CRPS sufferers develop is atrophy of the body because people with it don't want to move, as staying still as you can help alleviate some of the pain, so they don't move. So they waste away. And that's in addition to the mental trauma that happens when you are in pain for so long. I mean, we all know why we have pain to begin with. It's to learn not to do something that damages us again. Like, I'm not learning right now because my hands don't have claws. It still hurt, but it didn't hurt that bad. I wouldn't do that if I had claws or fire scratchers, because it hurts. Pain teaches us a lesson that we need to stop doing a thing, or we need to get out of a place, or we need to get out of a situation. It's all for self-preservation. Yet, even after the initial damage happens, why do our nerves still tingle? I still feel those slaps. Shouldn't the body just go back to normal? Clearly, I've stopped slapping myself. Clearly, whatever caused the pain I've gotten away from. And well, there is a reason for the after pain and the soreness we get also. It's to give us an easier healing time. Say you have a broken arm or a big gash in your arm. You probably shouldn't be using that arm or have your arm be touched because you don't want it to get infected and you don't want it to take longer to heal. So the pain lingers and remains, which teaches you not to mess with it until it's healed. Inflamed muscles need time to repair themselves after working out, so they make sure that you're sore after working out. That's how you know you did a good workout. But eventually, your body heals, and finally, you stop feeling that pain. But what about nerves that never stop firing off pain? Most CRPS is caused by damage to injured peripheral sensory neurons, which then has secondary effects on the spinal cord and brain. Basically, the nerves get really messed up really bad during whatever trauma caused it, and a deep enough burn tends to feature extreme nerve and skin death. So it's pretty far up there on the trauma scale, especially if we consider hellfire, often depicted as being worse than any possible earthly fire. Since Houndoom's Dex entry says that it only causes this infinite pain if it mixes toxins with its flames, it could be that these toxins latch on to the newly exposed nerves, causing enough damage and decay that they never fully heal. Thus, they would always give off the pain signal. Houndoom is essentially handing out CRPS to anyone it deems worthy of it, and thanks to its objectively evil lack of empathy, that can be anyone who happens to make it angry. And if it's a trained war dog hellhound, that's got to be pretty often. Thankfully, though, in the real world, there is some good news. Some CRPS cases can go away after a long time healing. That being said, there's technically not a cure, though there are just a lot of maybes and sort ofs. Various physical and mental therapies can help make the pain manageable, but it often never truly goes away. Some can be relieved of the pain temporarily, but the slightest stress causes it to come right back. Nerve blocks can also be applied to the sympathetic nervous system, which means while you still possess most motor function, the nerves from the neck downward are sedated, which provides temporary relief, and can allow doctors to manipulate and examine the painful spot close up. Another fascinating topic surrounding CRPS is using mirror image therapy. The idea, more or less, is that the perception of the conscious mind can influence the behavior of the sympathetic nervous system. Being sympathetic means it's not evil. This therapy can work due to the old mind over matter aspect. If you suddenly think your good side is now both of your sides, you're probably good. Meanwhile, you could have your bad side reflected onto your other side and just have the pain switched. Suddenly you feel it on the other arm. It's so weird how the brain does this, right? I'm sure you've seen those videos of magicians doing things like that. It's so freaky how illusionarily tricked our minds can become. I'm grammaring it up because it's so weird, but obviously more research is needed. So, Houndoom's fiery hellfire of infinite pain might not actually be that crazy of an idea. Non-stop burning pain is grounded in reality, and it's really scary. For once, Game Freak's no-limit fallacies turn out to be solid statements, and it just happens to be what's probably the worst one. Oof. This connection between Houndoom and CRPS was made by one of our patrons, Olivia LB, whose mother unfortunately lives with CRPS. And if you're intrigued to learn more about this and other neurological disorders, you can head to neuropathycommons.org or contact any of the other organizations mentioned in our sources below. More awareness means earlier diagnosis, and earlier diagnosis means a significantly better prognosis. That's why I love bringing awareness to not as well-known health issues like this. Even if it means I have to talk about it in the context of a spooky pepperoni, spicy dog bite. Now, you know what's totally unreasonable? Not having the time to just be. You know? I myself am a very busy man. How on earth do I find the time to improve my skills? Well, I looked at today's sponsor, SkillShare, with hundreds of classes that take less than an hour. And they even let you speed up the videos if you're really strapped for time. It's great. And now I'm saving even more time thanks to this one, Email Productivity. Work Smarter with Your Inbox by Alexandra Samuel. And wow, she really helped me learn how to get done quicker and more efficiently. Emails are a big part of my work days, and now they take significantly less time, and I feel significantly less stressed out about them. Folder and calendar integration for the win, and not having ads or distractions during the Skillshare lessons really helps too. So, if you want to learn a new skill, or 7, check out Skillshare. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of the premium membership, so you can explore your creativity to its fullest. And all at your own pace, too. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, never stop using your noggin.